Yeah, my name is Boboy James Edmond. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Institute of Social Policy in South Sudan. Our office is based in Juba. We're implementing a program which is basically tackling issues to do with climate change, gender, and peace. And this program is implemented a cross-border program with Kenya, with Uganda, and also in South Sudan. We have in South Sudan, we implemented this program in a number of counties. In Eastern Equatoria, we implemented this program in Budi County, Eastern Equatoria State, and also we implemented the program in Kapoita East and also Kapoita South. And part of this program is also supposed to be implemented in Ikotos. This program has a main outcome, and of course, this outcome is that we're enhancing, capacities of various groups to be able to engage in reducing, climate vulnerabilities in those areas, and also helping people to be able to build peace and most of the activities that are exploited by climate change in the region. So that's basically what we're doing, and we have a number of partners. Some of our partners are Root of Generation in South Sudan. We are being led by Safer World in South Sudan, and across in Uganda we have also a number of partners. Also across in Kenya we have a number of partners that are more civil society related that are also implementing this program. So we're enhancing our programs in that way. There are a number of activities we're actually implementing. Some of these activities that we've been implementing is basically we did a private sector mapping, which then help us to be able to understand who are the private sector in those areas, what are their capacities, what role do they have in enhancing processes of peace building and also climate change, and do they really contribute to peace and also climate change and resilient building in those areas, especially in the Budi area, in Kapoita South and Kapoita East. We have also done a kind of a mapping of civil society organizations in the 3 counties, and then what happens was that we then be able to train those civil society organizations to enhance them so that we can be able to build something, we call it a transboundary CSOs forum, which now becomes more stronger in Kapoita, and begin to work with civil society and communities in Kenya and also in Uganda as part of the collaborations. We also did a training for local leaders in Juba, and this training sort of enhances the capacity of local and national leaders to begin to discuss ideas of what role can they play in issues to do with climate change, gender, and peace building in the Eastern Equatorial region, particularly in the counties that the program is implemented. We also did another training to do with the policy making training, which actually brought in members of parliament from national level, from various committees, people from Minister of Environment, Minister of Water, people from the state, especially in Torit, and also people from the peace building ministries and the specialized committees in those regions, to discuss about some of the critical action plans that they needed to produce in order to begin to design policies that are necessary to strengthen community engagement, strengthen local government engagement, strengthen state engagement and national engagement in reduction of violence related to climate change, and also conflict, and also how do they integrate gender issues within these processes.
I'm called Jacob Rexina Waris. I'm a local government officer who is the Deputy Executive Director for Kapoita South County. Now, currently, we are going to talk on peace and climate challenges that our communities are facing currently. One is drought resulting into food insecurity. People struggle to cultivate. At the end, when there's no rain, the food fails to be harvested. So it returns people to hunger and starvation.
I am Florence Mapun. I work for Atekel Foundation as a project officer. Atekel Foundation is one of the civil society organizations in Greater Kapoita under the project Strengthening Locally Led Solutions, Intersecting Peace, Gender and Climate Challenges in the Borderlands of South Sudan, Kenya and Uganda. Being one of the beneficiary or the staff which has got a lot of capacity training by Ispr starting last year to now, there are a lot of challenges on climate change that are still existing on the ground. Some of these challenges are, especially on climate change, there is a drought, which is the result of human activities like bush burning, cutting of trees, deforestation, and all that. One other challenge is issues of displacement in terms of pastoralists, because here is a pastoral setting. In most cases, communities are forced to, or pastoralists are forced to move to the neighboring communities to access water and pasture for animals. Especially the proposals in this context move to the neighboring communities of the Dinga and Buya, which they end up having conflicts because of struggling for the limited resources like pasture and water.
My name is Sande Sabina Abe, a General Secretary, Budi County Women Association. I'm going to talk about the livelihoods that women mostly participate in within Budi County here. One of the most livelihood activities that women participate mostly in Budi County is agriculture. Most of the women are participating in agriculture, whereby they're growing variety of crops. For example, maize, cassava, saga, other vegetables like beans, sukuma wiki, and cowpeas. And these have been also affected by climate changes that happened within the county here.
We also did another training for local leaders in Kapoita East and Kapoita South, and some of those leaders are people who have received grants from this project, and therefore they implement these programs to be able to continue to engage on some of those issues in Bodi, Kapoita East, and Kapoita South. And of course, as you know, that this program is spearheaded by Safer World, but also it's funded by the Australian Development Agency, and the Australian Development Agency is more particular to really see that issues to do with climate change, gender, and peace building are really tackled in a way that is more inclusive, that bringing people with disability, women, youth, elderly, local government people, national and the state people together to discuss some of those issues, and how can then us be able to promote some of those outcomes that comes from South Sudan into Uganda and into Kenya. And one thing that we did was recently we also attended the Transboundary Community Forum in Karenga, which actually brought a lot of over 200 something people that came together with the UPDF forces, national intelligence people from Uganda, the communities in Kenya, communities in South Sudan, CSOs in South Sudan, CSOs in Uganda and Kenya, and also the people in the Karamoja regions to discuss some of the resolutions that could help in building cross-border peace, building sustainable peace within those regions, and engaging youth, women, people with disability, community leaders, local governments within those borders, and what does it take to really be able to have a shared resources within those regions to be able to be utilized to build sustainable peace, and peace that will bring more development and also bring participation of communities in their own local development. In terms of the communities we've been working with for some time, we have been working with a number of people. We're working with members of parliament at national level. We've been working with security sectors people. We've been working with ministries. We've been working with youths, women, people with disabilities, media. We've been working with different NGOs that are also engaged in peace building activities, and also the issue about climate change. We've been working with media entities because those are very important. We've also been working with religious actors because they're key in addressing some of the issues. We worked a lot with also private sector because they have a role in enhancing peace building activities related to cross-border and transboundary, peace building when it comes to reduction in violence related to climate change. And of course, there are also a number of challenges that have been recorded with some of the beneficiaries. I've talked about a number of challenges, and of course, some of the challenges are well known in terms of migration, in terms of conflicts, in terms of gender-based violence, in terms of human rights violation, in terms of access to resources, and it's about drought, excessive heat, water scarcities, and many other things that are really part of the issues that the project is trying to address, so the communities can be able to engage with with sustainable way, and also begin to build food security and also build peace with women, youth, and grassroots people.